So in 2.2, we turn our attention from differences of squares, which only have two terms, to factoring trinomials, which have three terms. They have an x squared, an x, and a constant. In order to factor these, we need to take a look at the two terms at the end. That would be the 6x and the 8 in question A. What we need to do with those is we need to find two numbers that will multiply to the 8 and that will also add to the 6. With numbers that are small like these, it should be relatively easy to find, but that won't always be the case. So we need to take a look and find a method to do this every time. So to multiply to 8, we have different options. It's easiest to go with the smallest options first. That would be 1, and ask 1 times what gives 8? Well, 1 times 8 gives 8. So then we need to check and see what 1 plus 8 gives. That's 9. It's not 6 like we need. So 1 and 8 are not the correct combination. Now we'll move on. Next number bigger than 1 is 2. And 2 times what gives us 8? Well, 2 times 4. Go over to the addition side and see what 2 plus 4 gives us. Gives us 6. That's what we're looking for. So that's our combination. So when we go to actually factor this, I'll just copy out the original trinomial again. When we factor, we always get two brackets. What goes in the front of each bracket is derived from this middle term, the 6x. We get just x. What goes in the back of each bracket comes from our multiply and add step. We get a 2 and a 4. But we can't just put 2 and 4, we actually need to put a sign with. Because 2 and 4 are both positive, we'll put positive signs. And as I said, this is a simple example. Should be relatively easy to figure out these two numbers without using the method. But we're going to get to questions where the method becomes a little bit more necessary. Looking at question B, now we need to multiply to 2, and we need to add to negative 3. That negative becomes important because that's going to affect the signs of what we do in the brackets. So we started off, what can we multiply to make 2? Well, we can multiply 1 times 2. Check the adding. 1 plus 2 gives positive 3. Positive 3 is not negative 3, but it's close. All that's different is the sign. So if we take a look back and do a second multiply and we try negative 1 times negative 2, those will still multiply to positive 2. Check the adding step, negative 1 plus negative 2, and those add to negative 3. So when you're going through this method, if you get the correct number but the wrong sign, change the signs on the items you have, and it should work out. We go to factor, we had y squared minus 3y plus 2. Again, we're going to have two brackets. In the front of each, we'll have y. In one, we'll have minus 1. In the other, we'll have minus 2. Just going to flip to the next slide that I have blank to do question C. Question C, now we have to multiply to negative 8, and we have to add to positive 2. And again, we'll go through the method, but by now you should be able to start thinking about this without having to do this written out. We start with 1 as always. 1 times what to get negative 8? 1 times negative 8. Check the adding. 1 plus negative 8. That's negative 7. It's not 2. So move on in the multiply column, we'll check out 2. 2 times negative 4 would give negative 8. Check if the adding works. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. Close. Right number, just wrong sign. So we'll go back to the multiply and we'll try reversing the sign. So this time we'll do negative 2 times 4. That still gives us negative 8. Check the adding. Negative 2 plus 4 gives us positive 2, so that's our number combination. To factor, we had x squared plus 2x minus 8. It will factor into two brackets. X is in the front. 1 gets minus 2. The other gets plus 4. D, same idea. We have to multiply to negative 8 and add now to negative 6. As always, start off with 1. Well, 1 times negative 8 is going to give us negative 8. Check the adding. 1 plus negative 8 gives negative 7. Doesn't work. Move on to 2. 2 times negative 4. Check the adding. Gives us negative 2. Move on to 3. Well, we can't actually multiply 3 times a whole number to give us negative 8, so we're going to skip it. Move on to 4. 4 times negative 2 would give us negative 8. 4 plus negative 2 gives us positive 2. Again, it doesn't work. We can skip 5, 6, and 7 as well because none of those multiplied by a whole number would get us to 8. So the last option is 8, and 8 times negative 1 gives us negative 8. Check what 8 plus negative 1 gives us 7. So we've gone through this whole process. We haven't found a number combination that actually works out. That will happen from time to time. Some of these trinomials are not factorable. So then how do we address that in the answer? This is called a prime trinomial. Just like a prime number such as 11 can't be divided by 1 or itself, it can only be divided by 1 or itself, a prime trinomial can't actually be factored in this method.